you can help me keep this thing going. I know you can't answer that, but you need
Well,
to know.
I just want to throw something out to you, because
Throw away.
when we met,
Yeah.
I went with Lisa to visit with him.
We've talked to Lisa, but she's not available, not anymore.
And as I thought about that, I thought the consideration of some transportation might be something that we could think about, because, and this is my personal opinion,
That's where
it would have to be a board and CPC decision, but the transportation part of it, I think I could get behind, because if you don't provide it and they need those services, they're going to travel from a lot further than they would locally here to get them.
Yep.
So if there would be some shared consideration of transportation, personally, I could probably get behind that.
So what I can do is break, and that's really where we lose. So say, for example, I've got people in Lakeview, I've got people clear over to Arthur, but they're Sac County people, and then I've got a bunch in Carroll, and I would talk with Carroll about the same issue. Is that, okay, just for example, the person in Arthur, you go over there for 2 hours a week. I pay the staff person at least an hour just in the car that I don't even pay, plus I pay the gas, all that stuff. So I provide 2 hours, one of them had just disappeared. If he cancels on her, he doesn't as much as he used to. I mean, you've got that. You're always going to have cancellations with that group of people. You're going to have it all planned out, and they're going to call 10 minutes before you leave the office and say, no, I don't want you here today, and you can't. What are you going to do? Or you get 5 miles from your house and you call your cell phone and say, can't meet with you. Those things are going to happen. We know that. The transportation is what kills you, is that you're getting all this distance out here and you're trying to, if they were all clustered in Sac City, or all clustered right in the town of Carroll, probably the program would be close to breaking even. It's that.
And I personally, I would propose a shared transportation arrangement, and I think, isn't the rate like $39?
It's 46.
It's 46 now.
Yeah, it was.
And I was, if you made a 40 mile to and from situation to meet someone at 50 cents a mile, you've already used 20%, $20 of that $46 just for transportation, because you're paying.
And you're paying the staff about $14 an hour.
Well, but my point is, just for the transportation costs, that you guys, if you use somewhere in the area, and I was just thinking of 50 cents, the Fed rate, that you've already expended $20 of the 46 that you're able to charge for.
Exactly.
And so at some point, I guess I can understand the seriousness of the transportation part of it.
Very much you should have backed her.
If they get those somewhere else, we may at some point end up picking up the whole transportation bill someday if they don't provide it here. So I guess I would like to
I will put
discuss.
the numbers together.
And sharing the transportation costs with the horse.
Right, and to say that we could consider paying one way and you pay one way.
Okay. And I can talk to Carol and see what they would be willing to do.
Just as a.
So what's now? Why does Carol?
Because about half of her clients are Sac and about half are Carol. And so I would want Carol to be part of it too, because it's their people too. And they really like her too. I mean, they depend on her to keep people going in their homes.
So just after when we met with the CPC, I was thinking about that and the costs of a 50-cent rate on a 40 mile trip. My recommendation to the board would be that if we could share that, I would support sharing it, but that all has to be worked out with the CPC.
I would have to
That
give
comes
you
out of
very
the mental
specific.
health.
Correct.
It doesn't come out.
That's correct.
I would have to give you very specific numbers of what is actually happening with it, and see how that that plays out, and so you know exactly pretty much what it would be, you know, exact number, what that would probably come out to be that would put us over the top as far as the mileage. And I agree with you, I think the mileage is the issue, and I think that's why the program struggles, because in the rural areas you're out there, those people, you know, they're gonna choose where they live. You can't tell people to move, and you wanna keep them, and they're chronic. And the more we get into gal I got going out there, she was just, I'm not gonna find anybody like that. She just loved her mother, and they respect, and they let her in the door. I mean, I've had other people fill in for her, and they won't even let them in the door, you know, and so they look forward to her coming. That keeps them going. The other thing, you know, and so I'll put numbers together, and I've got to call him down to the CPC in Carroll County too, and I'll talk to Doug down there and see if there's anything, and I'll take the same approach towards the mileage part of it and go from there. The other thing, you know, we talked about, and it dawned on me that maybe there has been a disconnect on our financial and statistical report, you know, and after you left, I got thinking, no, maybe you don't understand, maybe we're not on the same page as far as when we do our financial statistical reports. I know you were comparing Des Moines with Sac County, you know, and what we pay and what they pay. There is a difference, but the financial statistical reports that we do have nothing to do with anybody but us, and I felt like maybe there was a disconnect there that maybe you didn't.
No, I understand. There's a set rate, and no, I think we're on the same page.
Okay.
Because if you think about, your reports are done on the cost to operate in Sac County, and what it is. My statement went back to the idea that it costs. It would be more expensive to employ, and just a lot of.
They have more people to compete with than I do. I agree with that.
A lot of those, it just costs more to operate in Des Moines than it does in Sac City. Yeah. And that's where my statement came from. And so, yeah, I certainly understand, and we all understand that.
I totally agree.
When you do your rate, those are the expenses to your entity with no consideration of what anyone else.
And my business is run strictly, you know, just talk strictly business. It's run on how do I get somebody to walk through the door that I can trust to work with people.
Right.
And I'll tell you, the last 2 years have been miserable. You know, they have been miserable. I've taken risk on people I've never would have taken risk before, you know, and that concerns me. Our wages don't, you know, they're almost competitive in the area. But I used to get people from Lakeview and Auburn and Early that would drive in to come to work, but when the price of gas went up last year and the year before, I lost them. My workforce comes from Sac City, period, you know, as far as the direct people. And here I am looking at laying off a full-time person in one of my offices where I'm short for direct care. You know, I never have enough people coming in to apply for working in the group homes, because you have to work nights and weekends. It doesn't happen. You know, and so you're trying to come up with ways to do that. But I just want to make sure there wasn't a disconnect there. You understood that financial report that I do is strictly on what it takes me to get people. It has nothing to do with mainstream or anybody else. It's like,
but at the same time, my point was that rate is a statewide rate that's set, and Des Moines is not able to charge any more than Sac County.
But it's not the cap.
That's correct.
Okay. If you're talking about the cap, I totally agree with you. We have never, the only program we've ever been to the cap, and that has just been recent, and that is that habilitation one. The rest of them are all well under the cap. There's nothing even close to the cap, you know. So but that's because we've tried to be competitive too, because we know we have to compete with other agencies that live in bigger towns that have more options, more fun things to do than we do. I mean, that's just the bottom line. But I do appreciate you thinking about it, and that's really, I wanted to.
And that's, our CPC is off on medical leave, and we're hopeful that when she's able to return that we can.
And I would have talked to her first, but